Good evening, race fans. Welcome here to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 1 of 2 this evening. We'll kick it off here at the Oval, then head to the Roval to wrap up night number 1 of the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by Pit Pass Network right here on the Elite Racing Network. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me in the booth is Alayton Norgard and Jesse Rasimas. They'll be here with me all season long. Guys, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Robert. Looking forward to seeing this new season of ARCA.
I'm doing well myself. How about you guys?
Doing pretty good. Excited for this one. It's going to be a good race here tonight. Obviously, like I said, kicking it off here at the Charlotte Oval. And we'll get that started with your starting grid. Leading them off on the pole with an absolutely blistering lap is William White for Abbott Motorsports. He's a 1/10 of a second quicker than Fueled Up Racing's Trey Holmes, who will round out your front row. Row 2, Unacceptable Racing's JP Phillips, alongside KOR Motorsports' Jaden Rasimas rolling off 4th. Unacceptable Racing, Tommy Ryan can roll off 5th with another KOR driver in Jay Connor, rounding out row number 3. Row 4 belongs to Fueled Up Racing's Justin Vandermarl and Covered Bridge Racing's Michael Hosick, with Fueled Up Jordan Owens and independent driver Andrew Rucker rounding out the top 10. Alayton, take us through to the 20th spot.
In 11th, we've got Dylan Javier for Lake Norman and Ray Bracey in 12th with South Shore Racing. Cale Pocock in 13th. With his own team, and Casey Hatch with Fueled Up in 14th, Gavin Higgins with KOR, and Dominic Wright with Abbott Motorsports in 16th. Frank Fody with Lake Norman, and Andrew Hardcastle also with Abbott. David Carpenter with Do Good, and Carlos Acosta in 20th with RK Motorsports.
Rolling off 21st here tonight for Shift Esports is Connor Thompson alongside Lake Norman Motorsports, Austin and Abnett. Row number 12, Abbott Motorsports owner Corey Abbott alongside South Shore Racing Zach Evans, Dustin Haynes for Street Limit Racing, and Kyle Hanshaw for Kyle Hanshaw Racing going to roll off 25th and 26th. Abbott Motorsports driver Thomas Coonan going to start 27th alongside BOR driver Brian Carrington in 28th. 29th goes to Pro Edge's Josh Clark with Brett Baldeck starting 30th. The rest of your field is Unacceptable Racing's Jeff Ryan 31st, Dan Martinez for Fueled Up in 32nd, 33rd for Pro Edge Racing. It's the president, Austin Sally, alongside Lake Norman's Mitch Javier. Dave Huckleberry for Do Good, Chris Albrecht for Chris Auto Sport, BOR's Andre Trenoga, alongside Cover Bridge's Mark Robilis, BOR Shea Mitchell, Do Good's Dusty Dewar, and White Lightning Racing's Tyler Dixon. Gonna round out your starting grid as we come to the green flag this time. We're underway, and it's a good jump for William White as he's going to work his way down into turn number 1. 65 laps the distance, by the way, in this one. 3 sets of tires for the drivers, so they're going to have to be a bit conservative when it comes to their tire saving this evening. But before we get too deep into it, let's get some race picks underway. We'll start with our race controller and friend up here in the booth, in Jesse Rasimas. Who do you got?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Trey's going to come back up through the field here.
So Trey Holmes the pick there for Jesse Rasimas. Alayton, who do you got as the caution flag is flown?
I'm going to be looking at Tommy Ryan here tonight. I think he's going to be doing some pretty impressive things this season, so we'll see if he can live up to that.
Solid pick there. I'm going to go a little bit further back. I'm going to go with the 11th place car, Cale Pocock, in the 77 as well. Take a look at what just happened here to put us under caution for the first time tonight. Looks like it involves Austin Sally. Let's take a look and see. That's the 5 car down on the bottom of your screen. Looks like he's gonna... Oh, actually, it starts ahead of him here. Looks like around Kyle Hanshaw. Hanshaw getting hit from behind. I believe that's Dustin Haynes that got into the back of him. The 3 car into the Kyle Hanshaw machine. Sends him around. Going to collect a couple others in there as well. So caution number 1 has been displayed here very early in this one. Thomas Kunin sneaks through. Looks like some hefty damage for a couple of these guys towards the rear. A couple of those street limit racing cars, as well as Tommy Ryan. Looks like a big hit there for Dan Martinez, as he's going to have to go pit side. Austin Sally might have got lucky with a little bit of net code as he comes into that wreck, but a handful of cars already sitting down on pit lane here, guys. That includes a couple guys that we thought might have good runs here tonight. Trey Holmes down there on pit lane. He's currently getting serviced by his team. Frank Foti, last night's winner, by the way, in the Robotics Photography Grand National Series. Congrats to him. Kyle Hanshaw, Shea Mitchell, Jeff Ryan, Dan Martinez, Austin Sally, and Mitch Javier all sitting on pit lane. Tyler Dixon did not take the starting grid here tonight.
Yeah, I think that whole thing might have started off in response to Frank Foti getting up into the wall off of 4, and Hanshaw might have been checking up for that, and that's what caused the car to get into him.
We'll wait for an update here momentarily from Race Control on any tallies that might be issued. For those, there we go. No tally issue triggered by the number 41 getting loose, and the field checking up as a precaution. So a bit of a concertina effect off of the 41 of Frank Foti, just like you said, Alayton. So good call there. So as the caution flag is still out on the field, we're going to have a chance here tonight to talk to a couple of drivers throughout the field, see what their outlook is for the upcoming season, what they're thinking, and what their plans are. So I think we're going to go ahead and kick it off with Dominic Wright. We'll have a quick word with him. Dominic, it's Robert and the guys up in the booth. You got a copy?
I hear you, Robert.
You're currently residing back in the 14th position, obviously an early caution, throwing a wrench into things here. But what's your outlook for this race here tonight and the season as a whole?
You know, really my big goal for tonight is just get through this, get to the Roval, get solid performances in both of them, but I'm not too worried about being up front. It's early season, we're all getting used to it again, and yeah, I'm just looking for an overall fun season.
It definitely should be a fun one here. Obviously, we're kicking it off with the Oval, then we're heading to the Roval. Do you have a preference of the two of those?
I kind of like the Roval. It's a bit different, but it definitely provides some good chaos throughout at least the infield portion.
Yeah, it definitely should be a good one. Alayton, Jesse, you guys got anything here for Dominic Wright before we get him back down to his team?
Just want to let you know, Dom, I'm counting on you to not let me down in that 12 tonight.
Let's hope all goes to plan, Alayton.
Yeah, just run a clean race. Keep the tires on the end. I'm sure you'll be good for the rest of it.
That's the plan. Thank you.
All right, Dominic, best of luck. We'll get you back down to your team.
Thank you, Robert.
That was Dominic Wright driving the number 12, and Alayton mentioned it. That 12 car was driven by our champion last season, Alayton Norgard. So, gonna be interesting to see how Dominic follows it up this season.
Yeah, I was a little iffy about having someone driving the 12 this season, but with Dom, I feel like it's in good hands. So, we'll see what he can do this season.
See, I'm just not a good driver, so anyone can drive my car and it won't make a difference, so it's fine. But I could definitely see how it would be a little bit nerve-wracking putting someone else behind the wheel. As the lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car, Fred, the pace car driver, getting set to go pit side here momentarily. Barney the flagman hanging out down here towards the edge of that restart zone. He's got the green flag in hand. As the pace car's off, we're getting set to go green once again as we work our way past that bus stop on the front stretch. Green flag's out. We're back underway.
Really good jump by William there. He's got a big gap already opened up before turn 1. I think we're going to see Will lead quite a few laps here to start this race off.
Now, my thought is, I agree. I agree with you. He's going to lead a bunch of laps here early on, but is he going to be able to save enough tire for later on? As we have issues for Casey Hatch. He's up into the outside wall. That's the Fueled Up Racing entry. Going to put us under caution once again. Looks like an issue as well for Mitch Javier, as he's going to go into the infield, but looks like the caution will be triggered off of that 14 of Hatch. But let's take a look and see what happened to Mitch Javier. He checks up for the wreck and just gets absolutely nailed from behind by Jeff Ryan. Ryan, I guess, wasn't expecting Javier to check up as hard as he did there. Frank Foti kind of hit the binders really quick, and that stacked up Mitch behind. Mitch gets run over, goes around. I don't think that's the caution, though. I really do think it's the Casey Hatch machine, just the big difference in speed out there on the racetrack. Is Hatch was just about stopped in the outside wall. Let's see what happened to him. Oh, looks like, no, he gets in the outside wall, I think by himself. Yes, he does. So Hatch up into the outside wall off of turn number 2. The 20 of Higgins into the back of him afterwards. Then a couple other cars. Oh, wow. Hatch releases from the wall and gets into an Abnett there. It's a bit of a sketchy moment for Austin and Abnett. That's your caution. So caution number 2 now out here on the racetrack.
Yeah, it was a bit strange on the backstretch there with Frank Foti and the cars checking up behind him. I think he saw the wreck in turn 3, or saw Hatch got up in the wall and just started slowing down before the yellow ever came out. And that's a little unfortunate for those guys.
So what I'm kind of thinking on that one, Alayton, is Austin and Abnett is a teammate of Frank Foti's. So I'm going to guess that there was an audible call out indicating that they were wrecking in that area of the racetrack, and Frank reacted to that, checks up. Unfortunately for Mitch Javier, gets run over, and that kind of triggers the rest of it here. As you see on the screen, tally to the 14 of Hatch, got caught on the outside wall, got off the wall, and clipped the number 60 of Austin and Abnett. Warnings to ARCA brakes in the rear of the pack, which we indicated on the screen as well. So good call there by race controller Jesse Rasimas on caution number 2 of the day. And I want to ask both of you guys here, what do you think it is that's kind of preventing these guys from getting into that early rhythm and kicking off with some green flag runs here?
It's hard to say. I think if we can just get through this first lap green, then people have a chance to settle in. They'll be single filed out a bit more. I think there's potentially some more side-by-side racing than people are comfortable with on the initial starts. So as long as we can get past that, we should be able to get some kind of run going here.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I ran a couple of laps, but the car was a hair loose, but it's definitely manageable with the throttle. I think once people get spread out a little bit, it'll be a little bit cleaner of a race. We're just too bunched up on these initial starts with 41 cars and just a lot of people that haven't driven around each other enough yet to kind of get a gauge on everybody yet.
So we'll see how this upcoming restart goes. Maybe if we get another quick caution, it could be a temporary move to single file restarts, try to get a bit of a rhythm going here for these guys, but we'll see how it goes anyways. So anyway, as we were saying, William White leads the way, JP Phillips second, Jay Connor third, Jaden Rasimas fourth, Tommy Ryan up in fifth, Michael Hossack sixth, Justin Vandermarl in seventh, Andrew Rucker eighth, Dylan Javier ninth, and Ray Bracey gonna round out the top 10. As lights are off in the iRacing.com pace car, we're gonna get set to come back to green this upcoming time by. It'll be lap number 11 with 55 laps to go.
These yellows are almost exactly what William wants to see at this point, because like you said just before the yellow came out, with how fast he's pulling away from the field, we don't know how long his tires are going to hold on, but the more yellow laps he gets, the further into the race he can go before that becomes an issue for him.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to keep an eye on that and just kind of see what he's got for the duration of this one. Obviously, we're getting to that point where you're going to see a lot more strategy come into play for some of these guys, where maybe they opt to stay out on the racetrack rather than even thinking of a pit stop, because at this point, I do believe you can make it on fuel. It's just going to all be about what you can do in saving tires.
Yeah, fuel is really close before the yellows at all, but now that we've run a couple cautions under or behind the pace car, they definitely can make it on gas. So I want to see a green flag to the end here, just to see what people can do on their tires.
Well, as you see, Barney the Flagman's got that green flag in hand, and we're back on our way here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. William White with another good launch out in front of the field. He's going to lead the way into turns number 1 and 2. Jay Connor moves his way up to that second spot just ahead of JP Phillips. Phillips now under pressure here from Jaden Rasimas, as Rasimas takes a look to the high side of Connor. Not quite able to get there that time. JP Phillips back down to the inside of Connor. That's going to be your battle for the second position. Tommy Ryan holding on to 5th, but looking for a little bit more now as Jaden Rasimas goes for a crossover. He goes down to the inside of Phillips. They're going to be side by side heading towards turn number 1 and 2. Going to be clear now for Rasimas ahead of Phillips. So move Jaden up to 3rd, Jay to 2nd, and JP back to that 4th spot.
Yeah, we've gotten that initial lap out of the way. People are starting to get single filed out, and I think we should be good here for a bit, at least. Definitely been a racy lap, though, for sure, up front especially.
Yeah, Cale Pocock just got into the outside wall, so he's going to lose a handful of positions here. Back to that 18th spot. He's going to be up on the high side now. Dave Carpenter. See a battle a little bit further up. Thomas Coonan closing in on Connor Thompson. That's going to be the battle for the 15th position. Of course, Thomas Coonan representing RevLimit Workshop. That is our premier partner here of the development series for the 2025 A season. As we'll take a gander up towards the front of the field. William White still leading the way. Jay Connor in 2nd. The battle's back on for 3rd. It's Jaden Rasimas up top. JP Phillips on the bottom. As we'll just take a quick gander through, see who's on the move in which way. Biggest mover so far is Mark Roval. He's up to the 22nd position, up 16 spots on the day. Dusty Dewar up 15 spots as he battles it out with Jordan Owens, who unfortunately is down 15 spots at this point in the race. So a bit of a shuffle there as Justin Vandermarl, it looks like he's had a bit of a visit with the outside retaining wall. He's going to fall back to the 16th position now behind Connor Thompson, just ahead of Cale Pocock, as it looks like there's some damage on that number 80 WeatherTech machine for Field Up Racing of Justin Vandermarl.
Now that we've gotten some laps behind us, starting to get an idea of what people are doing for lap times, and Will is definitely still putting down some serious speed. I don't think he's definitely the fastest car on track right now. I don't know how long he'll be able to hold on to that, especially if he keeps pushing as hard as he can. With the gap that he has now, I think the best thing he could do is just kind of back it down a little bit and maintain a gap rather than trying to draw one out.
Just a quick peek at the track temperature, currently running at 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So I would say on the very cold side of a racetrack here, and I'd only expect it to be colder when it comes to the Roval race coming up a little bit later on, as we'll be racing in the sunrise at the Charlotte Roval. So something a little bit different there.
Data just got a piece of the wall going through the tri-oval there. He's falling back pretty hard.
We've got 4 cars in a really tight bunch right there. Andrew Rucker's been showing some good speed here. He's going to be wanting to get through this pack as quick as he can.
You see one of the Ryan brothers, Tommy Ryan, there as well, just behind Andrew Rucker as they work their way through turns number 3 and 4. JP Phillips and Jaden Rasimas. These two have been side by side for probably the last dozen laps or so. Very tight battle between these two. As you see Andrew Rucker, like you mentioned, Alayton all over the rear end of the JP Phillips machine. Tommy Ryan just behind him. Gavin Higgins there as well. Shout out to neighbor Pete as he's, I'm sure, tuned into this one.
More than likely, he's definitely tuned into this one.
Yeah, Gavin's another car you've got to keep
And I
an eye
can
on
confirm, by the way, he is tuned in. He's commenting in the YouTube chat. But yes, I agree. Gavin's a driver you got to keep an eye on. He's really stepped it up here in the development series and is showing some great pace here so far. Currently sitting in position number 7. Let's take a look here, by the way, just to compare lap times. You can see consistently William White still quicker than Jay Connor, but that fall off definitely starting to show just a little bit here. Sorry, Alayton, back to you.
I was just going to say, Gavin has always had pretty good speed, but last season especially, he had really stepped up his tire saving game, and that made him a lot more competitive over the course of the season, and I think we're just going to see that continue here.
Yeah, Jay and I worked with him on that quite a bit last season, and even like the season previous to that is where we started working on it, because he had the speed, he just didn't have the overall control to make the run last the entire fuel run. So he's definitely gotten a lot better. Probably why he's in playoff contention in a couple of series right now.
I definitely agree on that, and you can see the work that you guys have done with them to get Gavin to that next level. Obviously, went from a guy that, if he was in playoff contention, you might have thought, oh, it's a bit of a fluke, but now, no, he's a contender out here almost every week for at least a top 5, top 10 finish, and it's really good to see drivers taking that next step. And you know, Jaden's one of those guys as well, the driver of the number 19 machine here. He was lucky to finish usually on the lead lap not that long ago, and now finds himself as, again, another guy that's contending for top 10s almost every race that he's part of. So it's really good to see some of these guys stepping up through this development series and seeing those results reflected in the main series of Elite as well. And I just look forward to seeing their continued growth over the next year or so. And of course, this is still 2024 right now, but this is the 2025 ACE season, so you never know what these guys can do in 2025.
Yeah, Rucker has managed to clear that pack that he was coming up on just before. And Jaden and JP still were side by side, but Jaden is starting to drop back a bit here. Not sure if just got a bad corner or what.
Well, there was the lap car of Austin and Abnett coming up too. That might have come into play.
So I think that might be attributed to the wall brush in the tri-oval. He might have a little bit of right front damage, starting to wear out his right front a little bit.
Yeah, that would definitely do it.
One thing I've noticed here is we have 4 fueled up racing cars all in a row on the leaderboard. Justin Vandermeer 17th, Trey Holmes 18th, Dan Martinez 19th, and Jordan Owens 20th. I don't know if it's by design or just maybe bad luck that these guys are all running together towards the tail of the top 20, but interesting to see nonetheless as we jump to this tight battle here between Connor Thompson and Dylan Javier. Javier up top, Thompson on the bottom. Andrew Hardcastle coming onto the scene as well. Let's see if we can get a tight shot of his car. All right, so there, look at the hood on the Andrew Hardcastle machine. Alayton, could you maybe touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I believe Andrew's paint schemes this season are going to be highlighting a race counter of races that Will has gone without winning. he's up to 80 races in Elite without a win so far, and Andrew's going to be keeping track of that the rest of the season.
Well, and as of right now, William White really does not want to see that car again, as he currently is pacing the field nearly by 2 seconds ahead of Jay Connor. But of course, one wave of the yellow flag and all of that's out the window. But kind of a fun little thing to see there off of that Andrew Hardcastle machine.
Yeah, the way Will is running so far, though, he is still putting down faster laps than just about anyone else. So I think, unless he really falls off, it's looking pretty good for him at this point. There's a lot of race left, but he's putting himself in a good position to be sure.
Absolutely is. Let's take a look a little bit further back and see some guys that we haven't necessarily touched on as of yet. Dave Carpenter back in the 23rd position. He's just ahead of Corey Abbott and Zach Evans. Those guys 23rd, 24th, 25th. Kyle Hanshaw up there as well. Of course, he picked up an elite victory just a couple of weeks ago on his birthday in the Robiles Photography Grand National Series. So really cool to see that. Congratulations again to Kyle, and a good run so far for these next few drivers. Brian Carrington up to 27th, Chris Albrecht up to 28th, and up to 29th is Brett Baldeck. So a couple of the underdogs in this series slowly working their way forward. Shea Mitchell and Dave Huckleberry back here, 32nd and 33rd as well, both drivers on the climb up through the field, up 7 and 2 positions respectively.
Yeah, with those drivers, we've got, in addition to the championship, we've got a emerging driver title to keep track of throughout this season. So definitely going to be able to get some more eyes on those drivers as they kind of get their feet under them here in Elite.
Yeah, we'll share more of those standings, obviously, as the season goes along. The emerging driver bracket is kind of something that Dave Huckleberry has taken the lead on, and it'll be interesting to see what those guys can do. I know he's trying to get a lot of the veteran drivers of the league involved as well, and in helping mentor some of these up-and-coming drivers through the development series. So it'll be interesting to see who gets involved in that and who's willing to give up some time to make these drivers better each and every week and really see their growth.
Yeah, you had mentioned the fueled up drivers being 4 in a line earlier, and I think Daniel Martinez has decided to start making some moves because he is putting down some serious laps right now, on pace with Will, if not faster than most of these. So I think he's trying to move up through the field as quick as he can at this point.
Yeah, Dan Martinez on the move, Trey Holmes on the move as well. Both of those guys were part of that fueled up train back towards the tail of the top 20. Now Trey up to the 12th spot. Dana Martinez up to 14th, battling with Andrew Hardcastle as Austin Sally coming down pit road in the Pro Edge Racing number 5 machine. Some pretty serious damage on board that car. There's a couple guys coming down pit road, it looks like. Actually, no, it looks like a brief connection issue for the likes of Tommy Ryan, but able to gather it back up. Does continue on up here towards the front of the field in position number 4.
Yeah, Austin had gotten up into the wall through the quad oval right in front of this group of cars around 10th to 15th or so. Unfortunate for him, but there's always the Roval coming up next.
No, I got to point this guy out here. He's definitely been on the move. It's the Saab of Thomas Coonan, up 21 positions, currently sitting in that 6th spot as he battles it out with Gavin Higgins. So definitely good to see him working his way up through the field, as I think they made a little bit of contact right there, but looks like both drivers are going to be okay as they battle it out for 6th and 7th spots on the racetrack. Coonan going to clear Higgins, and now working his way down the front stretch is Thomas Coonan, as we have another pit stop underway. Dave Huckleberry taken to the pits. He's going to get some service on that number 52 Purdue machine and work his way back out here in just a moment. But back on the racetrack, battles on for 10th as Trey Holmes now going to enter that top 10, getting by Connor Thompson, who falls back to the 11th spot.
Yeah, Trey is one of those drivers that will sit back early in a run and just take care of his tires, and then as the run goes on, he just is an unstoppable force moving up through the field, it feels like sometimes. He does a very good job of managing his tires, and we're seeing the effects of that now.
Oh, tight right there between Thompson and Holmes. And that's a little scary, as you really got to keep an eye on that, guys, with the way that we've seen netcode kind of be prevalent on iRacing in the last little while. It's something that definitely could have come into play between those two. Not going to be of concern, as Holmes going to give the bumper to Thompson down the front stretch. That's another thing to be careful about with these ARCA series cars. The nose kind of acts as a wedge, so you got to be careful that you don't jack up the rear end of that number 30 machine and send them for a spin, because that'll be bad days for both drivers. But they're going to continue their march up through the field, as Mark Robilis going to march up through the field up to the 21st spot, up 17 positions. Unfortunately, on the other side, Jaden Rasimas, you can see that right front damage on the number 19 Razor machine. He is falling through the field, now down 18 positions. Unfortunately for him, the damage just, he hasn't really had a chance to get it fixed, as we're coming to 25 to go.
Yeah, when you get that outside wall off of 4 here at Charlotte and get a bit of damage, it's just the worst feeling, because it just starts a slow drop through the field, and there's nothing you can do about it without a yellow flag, because there's just no way you can stop for repairs without losing way too much track position.
So William White still leading the way here ahead of Jay Connor and JP Phillips as they battle it out for second and third. Tommy Ryan up there as well. Andrew Rucker trying to close that gap. Thomas Coonan on the move as well. Gavin Higgins just behind him. Almost everybody in this field has either gained or lost a position in their current standings, except for William White, who's still in first, JP Phillips in third, and Michael Hosick in the 8th position. So these guys are running exactly where they started at the beginning of this race. And I think the one having the quietest race so far out of these three, well, I guess William White's is pretty quiet up front, but Michael Hosick having himself a good day up here in the top 10, not really getting involved in anything, and just in cruise control.
Yeah, we had wondered how Williams' tires were going to hold on, but he's still maintaining that pace so far and has not lost time to second place yet.
He's been really consistent. If you look at it there on the lap chart, it's pretty much the same each and every lap. The difference between himself and second place Jay Connor. So for Will, he's got 21 and a bit laps to go here. Just kind of hoping that it stays green for his sake and that he can make it to the end without any issues. But we are going to quickly step aside here. We got to pay a couple of bills. And with the race currently running green, we haven't had a chance to do so. So we'll be right back here on the Elite Racing Network. You're watching the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by Pit Pass Network right here on ERN. Don't go anywhere.
3 years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're back here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and well, it's much of the same as what it was before, except that lead has been expanded. William White still leads the way with 15 laps to go over second place Jay Connor. And well, this is an absolute cluster right here back behind JP Phillips. You got Tommy Ryan in there, Austin and Abnett, Dave Huckleberry. So 2 lap cars and a Tommy Ryan that's on a mission trying to get past these guys that we're battling it out here on the racetrack. But wow, what a pace William White has had so far tonight.
Yeah, it's really impressive what he's managed to do with these tires. I didn't think he was going to be able to maintain this pace, much less continue to carry an advantage over everyone else. But he is really showing us how it's done right now.
That he is. He's done a good job of it here so far, as we are quickly approaching the 10 to go mark. And just taking a look through, see if we have any other tight battles on the racetrack. Looks like we do back here with Corey Abbott and Carlos Acosta. That's your battle for the 17th position. Acosta on the inside, Abbott on the high side. Andrew Hardcastle and Dusty Doerr just up the road there duking it out as well. That's for 15th and 16th. But everyone throughout the field is kind of separated a little bit. We had that opening kind of sequence of not so great early going here at Charlotte, but the drivers have been able to clean it up and have looked really good here.
Yeah, I had said that I wanted to see a green to the end, and looks like that might happen here. With JP and Jay up in second and third, JP was right on Jay's bumper, and then when they caught those 2 lap cars, it was good timing for Jay, bad timing for JP, and even worse for Tommy. And what could have been a good fight there, I think, has been at least delayed. We'll see if JP can close back up again.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on here with just about 10 laps to go. 10 and a half as White heads down the backstretch. You see Jay Connor and JP Phillips working their way down the backstretch as well, but the gap between first and second at about 3.6 seconds. So quite the gap for William White over Jay Connor as he comes to 10 laps to go. That's for the driver of the number 43. The Australian driver here in the Elite Racing League, Alayton Norgard, is William White as he leads the way and is seeking that first victory. As issues for Tommy Ryan, Thomas Coonan going to have issues as well. This is Jeff Ryan, I should say, not Tommy Ryan. Jeff Ryan with issues on the racetrack. He's going to come to a stop at the bottom of that corner. Luckily able to continue on, keeps us green as we are just 9 laps to go.
Yeah, so that's another case there where he got caught on the wall, came off the wall, and yeah, I might actually have to give a tally for that one.
So we'll wait for an update on the tally situation. But up front, White coming to 8 laps remaining here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And looks like we've got Austin Sally in the waiting room. He's going to be standing by with Alayton Norgard for a quick chat after what is an early retirement for the Pro Edge Racing number 5. Well, and he's disappeared. So forget that, as we'll continue up here at the front of the field. Looks like he got swept away from his PR person.
We've got some cars showing some good speed right now, but with the number of laps left, I'm not sure how much opportunity there is to make up many positions for anyone. Corey Abbott in particular is putting down some good laps at the moment, but with the time left, he can only gain 1, maybe 2 spots at this point.
Well, and now it looks like we have Austin Sally standing by with Alayton Norgard for a quick chat as we're approaching 5 to go.
Hey, Austin, this is Alayton here in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, how are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good. How was your race? What were your thoughts on what's happened here tonight so far?
Well, I mean, shoot, the first, 3 laps were obviously rough, and I got caught up in that first one. Then it was just battling damage all night, and car wouldn't turn. Going on down the straights, my wheel was at 4 o'clock. So I mean, it was rough. And then unfortunately, Netcode got Dan and took Dan out. So sorry to him about that. And it was rough, man. Rough first race.
Yeah, the good news is you've got another race here tonight still at the Roval. How are you feeling about your chances there?
Man, I don't know if I'm up to that yet, man. I might shoot for it, but based off of how just turning left went, it's kind of sketchy thinking about turning left and right.
I mean, the worst that can happen is you do the same as you did in this race, I guess, but it can only go up from here.
Yes, sir.
Got any shout-outs people want to thank for putting you here?
Shout out John for making the paint scheme tonight. Sorry, I made it not look so hot towards the end there, but I mean, yeah, and shout out Ethan Burrell and everybody in our Discord that's helped me out while I try to figure this thing out.
All right, well, thanks for coming in and talk to us, Austin, and hope you have better luck in the next race.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was Austin Sally, driver of the number 5 for Pro Edge Racing, as we watch William White working his way through some heavy lap traffic. Coming to popsicle sticks this time, he is hoping and praying that the next flag he sees after this one will be the white flag, as William White comes around, popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go for the driver of the number 43 for Abbott Motorsports. 80 career Elite Racing League starts, seeking victory number 1 as he heads down the backstretch. Going to be looking for the white flag this time. He's got a couple lap cars just up the road, as taking a look at some potential penalties for the 35 of Jeff Ryan for severe damage. But as we come off of turn number 4, the Whiplash Simcam's white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go for William White as he heads into turn number 1 and 2 for the final time. The driver of the 43 gonna go all the way down to the bottom. He clears the 3 of Dustin Haynes as he sets his sights down the backstretch. He's celebrating already. Maybe he should wait until he gets off of turn number 4, but White coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. It's going to be checkered flag for the first time in his Elite Racing League career. William White wins at Charlotte.
Yeah, it was just a dominating performance from William, and I think there's going to be some disappointed Abbott drivers just because it's been fun making fun of him, but he definitely deserves this. It's been a long time coming.
He's going to be excited, will probably not understand some of the stuff he's saying that because he's so excited in that post-race interview. White takes the win. Connor second. Phillips going to come home third. Tommy Ryan fourth. Trey Holmes going to come back to fifth. What a drive for Trey, man. Gavin Higgins sixth. Michael Hosick seventh. Ray Bracey eighth. Andrew Rucker ninth. Connor Thompson going to round out the top 10 as we're going to let William White burn it down here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A burnout that has been a long time coming for this driver. He's going to be excited as we'll have to see what car Andrew Hardcastle comes up with for the next race. I know he was prepared for this to potentially happen, so we'll see what he's got at the Roval. But burning it down, your winner, it's William White. Billy Blanco victorious at Charlotte.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on lasers. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're back here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, just finishing up race number 1 of the evening. And looks like we do have our third place driver, JP Phillips, standing by with Jesse Rasimas.
Hey, JP, is Jesse up here in the booth? You got a copy?
Yeah, Jesse, how you guys doing?
Good. Tell us about your run there. I mean, we've seen a lot of hard-fought battles. You guys are pretty close there from second to fifth for a good portion of that race. Why don't you tell us about it a little bit?
Yeah, there was a lot of, we ran pretty hard there the first, after we got through those first couple cautions, the next 15 or 20 laps, we ran pretty hard trying to just sort out track position. And honestly, I thought after about lap 30, I was like, well, we'll pit here in no time. And I went up and ran the top a couple laps, and I was just going to rip the top and wear the tires out and see where I could go. And then I looked down, I was like, oh, well, we can probably make this thing to the end. So I had to back it down and got behind Jay and just could never quite get the move made. I think I was a little bit quicker than him up until the last 10 laps. I was racing way too hard trying to get around him, and we're at the right front. So happy to get third and hang on to that. I don't know if there was anybody else coming behind us or not, but it was good fun racing. It was hard racing for, like you said, the top 5, 2 through 5 for most of the race. So I don't know what Will found, but he had it figured out, man.
Yeah, he definitely did. So kind of watching those battles, it seemed like everybody that tried to make the move on the bottom just wasn't able to complete the pass coming out of the corners. Was it just like get super tight on exit, or what was going on there?
It was actually super tight on entry. You bound the car up so much on entry, and it wouldn't turn the middle, so you just couldn't get enough run off to stay side by side. So it was nearly impossible to pass on the bottom. You just had to had to figure out how to sneak one their outside, and I think it took about half the race for people to start to figure that out. Once they figured that out, then they just blocked the top, and it made it nearly impossible to pass.
Gotcha. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do different to try to catch up there to maybe provide a little battle for William from walking away from this one?
I think I wish I would have pushed it a little harder and tried to hold on to that second place track position. I got a terrible restart. Of course, the last restart I had a terrible restart and got passed by Jay and somebody else. And then we had a couple guys run up through there and burn their stuff up that got by us. But I just wish I would have ran those first 7 or 8 laps a little harder and held on to that track position, because I think then I don't think I was as fast as William, but I think maybe I could have held on there a little closer to him.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like the passive was the biggest thing, but got anybody you want to thank? Any sponsor shout outs, friends, family?
Yeah, just a shout out to all the guys that race. This is a lot of fun. I love this car and don't get to race it a lot. Also shout out to the Ryan brothers there, Tommy and Jeff. I run with them a lot. Tommy has made me a lot faster here the last year or so. So always appreciate him giving me a few pointers, and thank you guys for putting on a good show here.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and best of luck to you the rest of the season. Looked pretty strong to start it off, so hopefully carry the momentum.
Because we're going to run around the back here in the next one.
That was your third place finisher, JP Phillips with Jesse Rasimas. Now I'm standing by with our second place finisher, Jay Connor. Jay, you came home in the second spot, but was there anything you could have done differently to get up there and battle it out with William White?
No, not a thing. That was a good old-fashioned butt kick in there. In the beginning, when we were kind of maintaining pace, I thought I was saving some tire there and was waiting for the fall off on his end. And when the fall off did come, I fell off, and it looked like he didn't. He just checked out and went. So congrats to him. That was, I don't want to say surprising because he's good, but it was surprising how far he checked out as the tires fell off there.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive to see that he was still able to pull away, and yourself and JP were both very, very fast cars at every point of this race tonight. So for the first place car to be able to check out like that, definitely remarkable. But looking ahead to the second race tonight, we're headed to the Charlotte Roval. What's your outlook for that one? Do you think maybe you can step one step further up on the podium and take the win?
Yeah, probably not a chance. I'm a left turn guy my whole life, so I struggle on the road courses some, and a top 15, top 20 would be nice for me. So hopefully just get through the whole thing and see the checkered flag.
And looking ahead to the season as a whole, what's your goal this season? Do you think you're going to be one of those championship contenders?
Well, I hope so. This is the 4th ARCA season I think I've run, and we've always had good results with it. And last year I thought we'd have a chance, and things just didn't go my way at the end in the last 5 points races there after the cutoff. And so hopefully a championship. I'll try to run for points as long as I could, as long as I don't miss a race or two here or there from something unexpected.
Well, Jay, we'll let you get to practicing for the Roval, but before we let you go, any sponsors or shout-outs you want to thank?
You know what's coming.
Neighbor Pete.
No sponsors, just the family and friends, that watch every week, and of course, Neighbor Pete.
Well, we'd love to hear it. Congratulations on a solid run here tonight, Jay, and we look forward to seeing you at the Roval.
All right, thanks, guys.
There's Jay Connor, your second place finisher here tonight. Now, Alayton Norgard, I know you've found your way to victory lane, but has William White found his way to that winner's circle? He's been trying for many decades, and I don't know. I think the trophy plaque with his name on it is getting a little bit dusty, but nonetheless, William White in victory lane with our very own Alayton Norgard.
William White, 80 races of trying, 80 races of frustration. What does this finally mean to you?
I don't even know. I can barely express it. I know it's only Arca. I know it's the 4th tier series, but like you said, 80 races of something going wrong, either by my own volition or something else's, and it got so frustrating. And for those last like 10 laps, I was having a heart attack. I was just like, please, no yellow, just let me get through to the end. This means so bloody much. Finally, it's been nearly 2 years of trying to get a win, and I've been fast enough so many times, and it just feels amazing.
You'd started off this race with setting a pretty blistering pace, and we questioned how your tires were going to hold up, and they just did not fall off. You kept the fastest laps of the race all the way to the end. How did you manage that?
Just being smooth. I mean, we ran this combo a year ago, and it was the same thing again. I qualified, I think, 3rd, got to the front, kind of checked out, just maintaining as little wheel as possible through the corner, drag a couple % of brake on the entry just to get the thing to the blue line, and then just very easy back on the throttle. And that's basically it. Tried to do that as soon as I, ticked off like 4 or 5 laps. On okay, this isn't going to be an immediate caution. Go into a bit save mode. Fuel was also tight. I was only a lap to the good when I crossed the line, so that was always a bit of a concern in the back of my mind. But just keeping it smooth. JP and Jay, they were kind of having their own fight between themselves for a good chunk of that race, so I kind of knew they'd slow each other down or try and wear each other out in the process, whereas me being a second and a half in front, I could just set my own pace and take care of the tires that would help me last all the way, and it obviously paid big dividends in the end.
Yeah, definitely did. Are you going to apologize to Andrew Hardcastle for making him abandon his paint scheme plan for the rest of the season?
Absolutely not. He has been giving me so much crap for not winning for so long, as have the entire Abbott Motorsports team, really, including you and Robert. But yeah, no, I actually am quite glad that he can change his paint now away from that silly race counter to, I think it says something like, Will finally did it. And he did finally do it. So yeah, no, I don't feel one bit bad for him.
So looking ahead to the rest of the season, now that I'm out of ARCA and you felt safe to come back, do you think you have a good shot at the championship for the season?
Well, I do feel like I have a pretty good shot at the title. I mean, I've given myself the best possible start. The Roval, which will be in a few minutes, is a good track. I might go back to back, but I'm not entirely certain. Judging by the Xfinity race at the Roval, I did pretty bloody terribly, but yeah, the races generally on the whole, I look at the tracks, most of them play to my strengths. There are a couple ones like Oswego and Bristol that I'm not great at or haven't ran yet, but I think generally I'm in for a decent season and I've given myself the best possible springboard, so hopefully a bit more of this for the rest of the season and I can lock up a title.
All right, well, best of luck with that. Time for your shout outs. Any thank yous you've got towards the broadcast team, maybe? Floor is yours.
Yeah, the broadcast team, they're quite cool. Alayton and Robert, obviously part of the Abbott Motorsports team as well, giving me crap. Yeah, Jesse's here as well. I mean, Jesse's on mute. I haven't heard from him. But yeah, Jesse's been doing a good job. Race control as well. Shout out to him, double duty. Yeah, all the guys at Abbott Motorsports that have been giving me crap the past 2 years for them all winning races, and then I didn't get one. Andrew, Corey, Brent, Dom, Thomas as well around with us, all the BOR guys as well. But I've been trying to show the ropes to Mitch, Brian, and Andre joining us this season. Obviously, you guys, broadcast team, Jesse on race control, Chad running the league as well, all the admins, University of Chichester, the Chai Challengers. They're the colours I'll be donning for most of the racing stuff that I do this season and probably for the next couple of years. So always good to have them on board. They're a good bunch supporting me through all of my sim racing stuff. Good to finally get them a win.
Yeah. Congrats on the long-deserved win, and good luck on the Roval here in a few minutes.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hopefully we give you a good show out there.
That is race winner William White picking up the victory here Let's take a quick look at your race results after the first race of the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by Pit Pass Network. William White takes the victory over Jay Connor and JP Phillips. Tommy Ryan and Trey Holmes round out the top 5. Gavin Higgins, Michael Hosick, Ray Bracey, Andrew Rucker, and Connor Thompson the top 10. And as the rest of the field cycles on through, let's go ahead and get some final thoughts, beginning with Jesse Rasimas.
That was a very, very long green flag run, so that was surprising. I was expecting a little more mayhem than what we actually had, but overall was a very clean race. Some nice hard-fought battles, and yeah, just a standout performance there by William, just walking away with it.
Absolutely. Final thoughts on race number 1 from you, Alayton Norgard.
Yeah, like I had said, I wanted to see that go green to the end, and we got that, and I'm very happy to see that. We got a good idea of what these drivers can do over the course of a run, and it gives us a good taste of what to expect for the rest of the season on these oval tracks, and now we're going to get that from the Roval.
Definitely a very solid race there at the Charlotte Oval to kick off the season. We're going to be headed to the Roval, so we'll be back in about 20 minutes time at about 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, where we will have the qualifying session from the Roval. It will stay live here on the Elite Racing Network. We'll probably bring you some sights and sounds from practice, but we'll be back in the booth at about 9 o'clock, so stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to WWTRaceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
And good evening. Welcome back here to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. This time we're here at the Roval for race number 2 of the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by Pit Pass Network. We're going to be racing under the sunrise here at the Charlotte Roval. So I guess we could say good morning and welcome here tonight. We're going to have a 30-lap feature race here at the Roval. 2 sets of tires will be available to the drivers. And guys, what should we expect to see here in race number 2?
I'm hoping to see more of a race for the lead. With the way the qualifying's looking, my hopes are not that good, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it looks like the top guys here are all like sub 120s. So they're in practice. There was 3 or 4 guys that kind of hit that mark. See if maybe those guys could put on a nice show for the front battle. And I'm going to send out a reminder that everybody has different braking points before we start this race. Just kind of be on the caution side. Hopefully we don't get a lot of people running over each other.
Definitely a good idea to just quickly remind the field that not everyone is going to utilize the same braking points here throughout the event. Just taking a quick look through. I want to have a quick word with the driver of the number 7, Ray Bracey. Let's go ahead and pull him up into the waiting room. Hey, Ray, it's Robert up here in the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Currently sitting 5th on the charts here for qualifying. What's your outlook for this one here at the Charlotte Roval? You're definitely a guy to watch when it comes to these road courses.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with road courses. It's probably, if I had to have a specialty, it would be this. But yeah, there's a lot of tough people. William White, he looks like to be a favorite again. But just having fun with out there is the main thing. Practice a lot with a bunch of other cars, especially the Formula Vs on this. So I'm really familiar with the track. So hopefully I can put that to good use today.
Well, we definitely do hope to see that. What were your thoughts on race number 1 of the season over there at the Charlotte Oval? Did you get the finish you thought you were capable of getting, or are you leaving with a little bit of disappointment looking for more?
Oh, I was happy with where I finished. I finished 8th place and started 12th. I didn't know what to expect. There were a lot of new people. I haven't seen race before in that lobby. But I just managed to keep my car clean, not kill the tires. Unfortunately, it went green the whole way, so that really benefited me. Had a lot of close battles. Rucker was one of them, and got him at the very end. I was really happy about that. But yeah, so far I'm very happy with the first race and how I did. So I was top 10, super great. I was expecting maybe top 20, but P8 is awesome. Can't complain about that.
Absolutely cannot complain about a top 10, that's for sure. Before we let you go back down to your team, any shout outs you want to give, sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, South Shore Racing. David organized our little group here. Right now, Zach Evans is with me racing this. He did pretty well last race too. My little YouTube channel, Quick Shift. Sometimes I do recaps of elite races. Really just depends on how lazy I am. But that's what I got. That's what I've been sponsoring recently. So that's Bojo Racing if you're interested in that. So yeah, and shout out to my cat who always sponsors my car.
Absolutely. Best of luck, Ray, in race number 2 of the evening, and we hope to be talking to you down on the podium.
Much appreciated.
All right, best of luck to you. That was Ray Bracey, driver of the number 7 machine. As we'll get him down back with the correct team. There we go. He found his way home, luckily. I was looking for the South Shore channel, and he's hanging out in Wally. But before we get going, guys, anyone else you want to talk to that's hanging out here in Discord?
I can't really see Discord from my seat here, so...
Let's do this. Alayton is going to be standing by with Andrew Hardcastle to discuss the number 22 machine.
Oh,
Andrew, Alayton up here in the booth. You got a copy?
yep.
So how are you feeling about this Roval race coming up here?
Same as I usually do for road courses. Not great. I'm not good at them, and Will won a race, so it's not the best at the moment. You ruined the joke, and so I got a new one, and I'm not happy I'm running the scheme, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I asked if he was going to apologize to you, and it didn't sound too positive there. So I know all of us on Abbott are a bit disappointed, but congratulations to William again. And I guess any shout outs you want to give before you get started here?
Yeah, just the Abbott team. We're having fun down there. Corey's yelling about his pedals like usual, normal things, but we're having fun, making fun of Will the entire time. So,
All right. Well, good luck on this race. Hopefully you can move up a few spots, and good luck.
thanks.
That was Andrew Hardcastle. As he gets set for this one, we'll take a look at your starting grid. Leading them off from the pole, he picked up his first victory of his career here just a couple moments ago. William White going to start on row number 1 alongside Tommy Ryan. Row 2, Cale Pocock alongside Gavin Higgins. Row 3, Thomas Coonan and Ray Bracey. Row 4, Dylan Navier and Hunter Smith. Row 5, Jeff Ryan and Jay Connor, with row 6 belonging to Andrew Rucker and Austin Anabnett. Alayton, take us through the next sheet here.
On 13th, we got Zach Evans, and 14th, Dusty Dewar, followed by JP Phillips and Andrew Hardcastle. And then in 17th, we've got David Carpenter and Josh Clark in 18th. 19th, Frank Fody and Kyle Hanshaw in 20th.
Jesse, you back with us from your quick meeting?
Yeah, so we'll run through here. So 21st position, you got Mitch Javier. 22nd, Jaden Rasimas. 23rd, Carlos Acosta. 24th, Dave Huckleberry. 25th, Justin Vandermeer. 26th is Corey Abbott. 27th, Chris Albrecht. And 28th, Michael Hussack. 29th, Mark Fabilis. 30th, Jordan Owens. 31st, Casey Hatch. 32nd, Connor Thompson.
Now, everyone behind them, I don't know how many of them have actually made the start here. Dominic Wright out there on the racetrack. He was scheduled to roll off 33rd, but Mark Robilis, Austin Sally, Shane Mitchell, and Andre Trinoga do not appear to currently be out there on the racetrack. So, not sure if they'll join us for the race, but we'll keep our eyes peeled nonetheless, as the field is working their way around. This one, 30 laps in distance. Probably won't see too many caution flags, I wouldn't think, unless there's a track blocker that forces race control to trigger that yellow. But otherwise, I think we should be A-okay. But let's go ahead and make some race picks. Once again, we'll start with Jesse.
I'm actually probably going to try to go with Hunter Smith on this one. Showed a lot of consistent pace in practice, and he just looks like he had a pretty bad qualifying run there.
Definitely a solid pick there of Hunter Smith. He was 3rd quickest in practice. Alayton, who do you got?
I'm going to reprise my pick from the first race and go with Tommy Ryan again. I think he probably stands the best chance against Will up here, and hopefully he can pull something off.
I'm going to double down on my pick from race number 1 as well. He's going to roll off 3rd. I'm going to go with the 77 at Cale Pocock to get it done here in race number 2. So some solid picks all around here as the field heads down the back stretch, working our way towards that green flag that we should get within the next couple of moments. Once again, thanks everyone for joining us here tonight. Race number 1 of the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by Pit Pass Network. We also want to say thank you to some of our premier sponsors, Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels. Accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. And of course, 4D Racewear, the makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes are custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing all the comfort needed for the double and triple stints. Visit 4dracer.com and check out the original racing shoes for your feet. As we're back underway here at Charlotte, green flags out for race number 2, and it's William White going to lead us into turn number 1, but Tommy Ryan right there with him. We're going to have a battle brewing already here for the top spot, but Will has found that loud pedal, and he's going to separate himself just a little bit here as the battle's brewing for the 5th position. Ray Bracey battling it out with Thomas Coonan as they work their way through the infield road course portion of this racetrack.
Yeah, that starting chicane is probably the trickiest restart zone in the entire schedule, in my opinion. And we got through it cleanly. I'm pretty impressed with these drivers right now.
Definitely good to see a clean and green launch for these guys. We'll watch the battles all throughout the field in this one. This is Titan Runner Smith, Thomas Coonan.
Bit of a slide from Thomas there, entering the chicane. Lost a couple spots, I think. But, back up and is still going. Don't think he got any damage.
He looks to be A-OK. Looks like issues, though, for Casey Hatch. He's going to go around. We'll take a look on the Roval Photography Replay Machine. Check out rovalistphoto.com for all your photography needs. As we look at the 14 of Casey Hatch, headed down the backstretch into the bus stop here. Looks like he's just going to get in a bit too hot. Go for a slide, gather it up, and does continue on.
Yeah, one thing that these road courses have different from ovals, aside from turning right.
With issues. Uh-oh! There they go. Justin Vandermeer around. Dominic Wright around. This is a big one here. Caution flag displayed. Chris Albrecht involved. Justin Vandermeer involved. Casey Hatch there. Dominic Wright going to be in that one. Let's take a look and see what just happened to trigger caution number 1 of the evening. A lot of this comes back to whatever happened with Andrew Hardcastle. Looks like, oh, wow. Wow. Something big happened to Hardcastle. Looks like he just lost it. Loses it, kicks back across the track into the outside wall. Frank Fode's got to go around. Jaden Rasimas has to go around. Kyle Hanshaw gonna dodge as well. And then that moves over to Justin Vandermeer, who decides to go through the middle, makes contact with Dominic Wright as they're working their way around Carlos Acosta. That's gonna send the two of them around. I think Wright comes across the nose of Vandermeer a little bit there. Then you see Chris Albrecht get involved. Jordan Owen's going to get involved as well as Dominic Wright goes up in the air. So multiple cars going to be in this one. Corey Abbott gets a little piece at the end, but good call there by race controller Jesse Rasimas to bring out the caution flag.
As that was happening, I was about to say,
yeah,
the difference from ovals is that there's a lot more opportunity to make mistakes, as we just saw from Andrew there. And that also applies to the leader too. So if Will definitely has to keep his concentration fully locked in here to hold on to this race.
As you see from race control, no tally, 3-wide situation caused by checking up due to a slow car on the racetrack. While we're under this caution, though, we'll take a look at the Thomas Coonan machine. That, of course, is the RevLimit Workshop sponsored entry. RevLimit Workshop is my apologies, I swallowed a fly right there. That wasn't very tasty. As that is the series sponsor of this development series. RevLimit Workshop, your go-to for pulsating designs at unbeatable prices. Need a logo or promo? Get yours for just $5. Want a full racing scheme that stands out? $15. We'll get it done for you. Contact RevLimit Workshop on X to get your premier custom scheme today. So back down on the racetrack here, caution flag number 1. William White leads. Tommy Ryan second. Gavin Higgins third. Cale Pocock in fourth. Ray Bracey in fifth. Hunter Smith sixth. Seventh is Dylan Javier. Eighth, Jay Connor. Ninth, Thomas Coonan. 10th is Andrew Rucker. 11th, we find Austin and Abnett, followed by Dusty Dewar. Jeff Ryan 13th. 14th is Zach Evans. 15th, JP Phillips, followed by Josh Clark in 16th. Dave Carpenter in 17th. 18th is last night's winner, Frank Fodi, followed by Jaden Rasimas in 19th, and Michael Hosick rounding out the top 20. 21st, Kyle Hanshaw. 22nd, Carlos Acosta. 23rd, Andrew Hardcastle. 24th, Connor Thompson. 25th, Mitch Javier. Jordan Owens taking a pit side in 26th. Corey Abbott 27th with actually heavy front end damage. Wow. That's
yeah, so
major.
he got that on the opening lap, going into turn 1. It looked like he was kind of checking up a little bit and just kind of clipped the wall there, and I just watched his bumper fall off because I was actually going through watching all the racing action through the first lap just to make sure I didn't miss anything there.
Yeah, that's major for Corey Abbott. The rest of your field, Dave Huckleberry 26th, Chris Albrecht 27th, Dominic Wright 28th, Justin Vandermarl 29th, Casey Hatch out of the race, as well as Andrew Trinoga, Mark Robalis, Shea Mitchell, and Austin Sally. So back up front, lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car. We're currently sitting at 1 lap to green. We'll go green again next time by with 26 laps remaining here in race number 2 of the season at the Charlotte Roval.
I was just taking a look at the 12 car of Dominic Wright because he had one of the more exciting looking parts of that accident, and somehow he got out of that with very little damage. Just some slight damage to his right rear fender, even though he nearly flipped the car. So
He's looking okay.
he got pretty lucky there.
Well, we'd be remiss if we didn't take a look at the Andrew Hardcastle machine. We'll see if we can get a good view of the hood. And there it is, the crying frog emoji that indicates Will finally did it. Yes, he did. William White, winner in race number 1 of the season. Kind of a fun little meme there as we work our way down the backstretch. Pace car should be heading off here momentarily. It'll hand the field back to William White and Tommy Ryan to get us back underway. Gavin Higgins on the inside of row 2 with Cale Pocock going to be up to the outside.
And now I've got a second restart to go through this tricky chicane. Hopefully they can do just as well as the first time.
Definitely the goal for that one, as we're going to work our way now towards that green flag. Pace car is off. Here we go as we work our way through that front stretch chicane. Wow, big hit of the sausage curbing there for Tommy Ryan. Green flag's out. We're underway as William White going to lead us down into turn number 1. Tommy Ryan just behind him. Gavin Higgins, Cale Pocock, Hunter Smith, your top 5 as they work their way through the windy bits of the racetrack here. Going to be 25 to go next time by. White looking to go back to back, but this one could be a little bit tougher as there's a lot of curveballs thrown at you throughout these Roval races here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, even though it's fewer laps, it's a lot longer of a lap, and it takes a lot more focus a lot of the time to really nail those braking points. And just one small mistake, and you're locking up the tires and going in too deep, which can be especially bad with these chicanes. The curbs here are massive, and hitting them wrong can send you off in a direction you do not want to go in.
And you know, we actually saw that a lot in practice, where you just clip one of those curbs a little bit too much in the wrong area, and all of a sudden you're sent into the inside or outside wall. As Mitch Avir going to have an issue down here. I believe that's the backstretch chicane that he's going to go around, and we'll take a look and see what happened to Mitch Avir. I'm going to guess he probably got in a little bit too hot. Or did he have no, he got contact with Dominic Wright. So Mitch Avir going to go around off the nose of Dominic Wright. We'll stay green here, though. The only time we'll get a caution flag at the Charlotte Roval is when race control deems one necessary, such as that track blocker we had a little bit earlier on. It's a little battle to watch here. Jaden Rasimas with Carlos Acosta, Kyle Hanshaw, Connor Thompson, and Justin Vandermarl just behind them as well. He's having a nice recovery from his early incident.
It's very early on so far, but Will's been setting a second faster lap than Tommy Ryan on the first one after that restart, and Tommy's another second, well, half second quicker than Gavin, but Gavin's up in a good spot here in third. I don't typically think of road courses when I think of Gavin Higgins, but he's definitely doing pretty well so far.
Definitely liking the pace out of Gavin Higgins here so far. Currently holding on to the third spot. He's separated himself as well from Hunter Smith, but definitely cannot count Hunter out when it comes to this one. He had some great pace earlier on in practice, and like I said, didn't have a good qualifying effort. Started in the 8th spot, now up into position number 4, so definitely on the charge forward. Your biggest mover so far is Michael Hossack in the Robilis Photo number 24 machine. He currently sits in the 16th position, started 28th, now looking for 15th as he battles it out with JP Phillips. Of course, Phillips fresh off a podium finish at the Oval earlier on tonight in half number 1 of tonight's doubleheader. As issues for oh wow, Andrew Rucker gonna be involved in an incident. Looks like Dylan Javier also gonna be in this one. Let's take a quick look at what happened to them to bring, well, won't bring out a caution, but to slow both those vehicles down. Rucker just full sends it into that backstretch bus stop, makes big contact with Dylan Javier. Both of those guys go around, and they're gonna lose a bunch of spots. Dylan Javier was up there well inside the top 10, now just holding on to the 10th spot, and Andrew Rucker back in position number 12. That's one thing that Jesse mentioned earlier on. Braking points are very, very different amongst some of these drivers, and that could have been what we saw right there between Dylan Javier and Andrew Rucker.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like to me. I was just going back watching all of it on the replay machine here, and it kind of looks like Dylan got on the binders right around the 5 mark, and Rucker kind of set it a little bit deeper, and I just couldn't slow down as quick.
At a lot of road courses, you'll see chicanes being a good place for overtakes just because it's a big braking zone, but I have never felt comfortable doing that at the Roval specifically because the line through the chicane is very specific and pretty narrow. So trying to go too wide through that is a scary idea. So I kind of hope that we don't see too many people going for that in this race, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of other better opportunities on this track.
So we're taking a look here at Jay Connor, the driver of the number 9 machine, and this is a milestone race for Jay. It's going to be his 50th start in the Elite ARCA series. So with that being the RevLimit Workshop Development Series, the Pit Pass Network ARCA series, and previous versions of ARCA as well. So 50 career starts for Jay Connor as he currently resides in position number 7. So congratulations to him. I'm going to give you some trivia here, gentlemen. Who holds the most starts in Elite ARCA history at just 55 starts? They are currently in this field.
Yeah.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, that actually is a pretty good question. I'm gonna go with horseback.
And
I was kind of leaning that direction.
Gentlemen, you have lent in the correct direction. Michael Hasek, 55 career starts. That is the most in Elite ARCA competition. So good guess. And he does have a victory in those 55 starts as well.
And my second guess would have been Hunter Smith, but I know he's missed some races in past seasons, so...
Well, good timing to jump to Hunter Smith as he makes a pass on Gavin Higgins to move up into the 3rd spot, so up 5 positions here on the day with just over 20 laps to go. That would have been a good guess as well, by the way, Alayton. I think he's up there in the starts.
Yeah, one thing I'm going to be curious to see how it plays out in this race is the difference in tire wear, because you can push pretty hard and get some good lap times, but I think it's a lot harder to save tires when you're doing that compared to what Will was doing on the oval earlier in the night. So I'd be curious to see if he manages to keep up his pace the same way here.
And I'm just going to clarify on this one, just because you mentioned his name. Hunter Smith, with starting this race, has tied for 3rd in the most starts in Elite ARCA history with you, Alayton Norgard, at 42 starts.
I'm just going to fall down that from here on out.
You are no longer existent in the history books.
I don't even remember. I think I only ran, I don't know, maybe 20, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, you're pretty low on the list. You did not make a lot of starts in this series. I'm not actually seeing your name. Where are you? There you are. 11 starts. So even less than you assumed. But that's because you went out and won a championship and picked up some good luck out there and some success.
I think that was more the wife. Well, once the full season started over again, she wasn't too happy. I was spending 5 days a week down there.
Wow. William
Yeah, that's
White
always
just
a struggle.
ate the curb. That's why I'm not married. So yeah, it's just easy. Look at Will working that wheel on board the number 43 machine. These drivers are definitely having to put the work in. By the way, the track temperature here, 74 degrees Fahrenheit, so actually warmer than what we had at the Charlotte Oval.
Yeah, so we actually picked up 4 degrees, I believe, from the beginning of the race. During practice, I believe it was only like 70, and it was definitely slippery out there. You could see them. They were fighting the wheels a lot more in practice than they are now during the race.
Well, and it makes sense that it was cool. We're racing in sunrise. By the way, Tommy Ryan and William White have separated over 6.5 seconds over 3rd place Hunter Smith. That is massive. 10 seconds between Will and Hunter, so that's 1st and 3rd. 3.5 between William White and Tommy Ryan for 1st and 2nd. Just look at the visual gap. It's pretty large.
Yeah, the way this is shaping up is looking pretty positive for Will sweeping the night.
So far.
Yeah, there's a lot of race left, for sure. A lot that can happen, a lot that can go wrong. Hopefully not, but you never know.
And Andrew Rucker with another issue. That is not the direction you'd like to be facing on the racetrack, as you see the 27 of Chris Albrecht going through the chicane as well. We'll take a look here at Andrew Rucker. Looks like he's going to hit that curbing. It unsettles the car, sends him around into the inside wall. And now I believe he's been able to get that car moving again. Yes, he has. But the DeWalt tool is going to come into play to fix that 64 machine up.
Yeah, it's pretty rough to get turned around when the only way you can turn around is in front of other cars coming and you have to wait for all of them to go by. So on top of the spin, just a ton of track position loss just from having to wait. It's very unfortunate for him.
Cale Pocock has called it a night. What happened to him? Oh, man. So that's what happened to him. How did it happen, though? Looks potentially hardware failure?
I think he caught that wall right there.
Oh, he caught the wall and all of a sudden broke the steering, I'm sure of it. Up into the outside wall. Night over for Cale Pocock. And he's probably already sending a cease and desist to our booth to make sure I do not pick him again, as that was 2 races of bad luck for the 77, and both those races he was my pick to win. Issues for Austin and Abnett as well. He's actually having a really solid run up in the 12th spot. Looks to be A-okay, so all good for that number 60 machine. Not so good for his teammate, Mitch Avir, who has nosed it into the inside wall on the back stretch. He'll continue on. Kyle Hanshaw takes a pit side in the number 46 machine. Was the expectation for there to be a pit stop here in this one, guys?
No, they've got plenty of fuel to make it to the end, so a pit stop is... I don't think there's any way for it to be effective.
Yeah, so the pit stop definitely will not be beneficial at all unless there's another caution for some reason, but we are way too spread out that I shouldn't need to throw that, and I'm knocking on wood just in case.
You definitely want to knock on wood as we take a look at a battle here for the 10th spot. That's going to be a slowdown for Michael Hossack as he cuts across the racetrack. Zach Evans was giving chase in the MeFi number 6 machine. Good run so far for Evans. So the 2 South Shore Racing drivers and Ray Bracey and Zach Evans looking pretty solid here so far. Austin and Abnett as well, guys. I gotta say it again, he's having a good run up into the 12th spot. This is another guy that kind of unexpected and doing a good job as JP Phillips having a rather major issue. He's off in the grass here on the front stretch, gonna fall all the way back to 19th. So we'll take a look and see what happened to him.
I think he might have caught, he caught the curbing a little bit too much.
Caught the curb, went around. Jordan Owen says, thank you, sir, as he makes quick work of the JP Phillips machine and moves up into 13th. Dave Carpenter doing a nice job right behind him, as is Jaden Rasimas up into 15th. He did not have high hopes coming into this one.
No, he's kind of like me. I kind of despise road course racing myself. Only in the stock cars, though. So, like, you put me in an IMSA style car, I tend to do okay. But
So
the stock
you mean
cars,
a car that's designed to do this?
Exactly.
Yeah, a little difference. As Dominic Wright closing up here on Frank Fodia. Alayton, your successor, doing pretty good in that number 12 machine. Up 16 spots, started in 33rd.
Yeah, and after that incident earlier on, he reset to back there too. So he's definitely made some forward progress. That's a big cut of the curb there.
He's turning the car into a pogo stick, but still.
But that's the closest group on the track right now, I think, those three cars. People are getting pretty spread out.
Which is honestly kind of what you want at this stage. Half number 2 of a doubleheader. You're kind of ready as a driver for it to be over, especially because you started with the oval, now moving here to the Roval, where it's a mental game, but it's also kind of physically demanding. It's tough on these guys, and it's definitely a long night for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so the 11th, 12th, 13th position were actually pretty close too, as far as battles. Those are the two closest right now, the mid-pack ones.
And Nabnet in that, wow, he just absolutely sends it over the curbing. By the way, Kyle Hanshaw did exit the pits, worked his way back onto the racetrack, but has now re-entered the pitting area. So not going the way he would have hoped, but he'll be back for sure. By the way, closest gap on the racetrack right now is Austin and Abnett and Jordan Owens. Everything else is pretty well spread out. And by the way, Alayton, we saw him take the curbing rather hard. Dominic Wright taking it to the pits, and looks like Knight over potentially there for the 12 machine.
Looks like he had a black flag for something.
Maybe he didn't serve a slowdown. Cutting the course or something along those lines.
Rough luck.
He was having a good run for sure as we take a look at the number 80 WeatherTech machine. That's the Fueled Up Racing entry of Justin Vandermarl. Currently running in the 17th position. Up 8 spots on the day. An update on your biggest mover. That is a tie right now, but the tiebreaker would go to Michael Hosek, who currently sits in 10th. He's up 18 spots on the day. Jordan Owens also up 18 spots, but currently sitting in position number 12. Austin and Nabnet is the driver separating the two of them. An update, by the way, here on your race leader. Yeah, we do have one of those. It's William White leading the way by 5.2 seconds over Tommy Ryan. Hunter Smith is 14 seconds back. This is insane. And just taking a look at the last couple of laps, Will put almost a half second last lap over Tommy Ryan. Prior to that, it was pretty consistent of almost a half second. Lap 13, lap 14. Kind of condensed back up 15, 16, but separated again. So pretty remarkable to see what William White has been able to do here tonight.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of tire fall off from him. He's really putting on a clinic with keeping those tires under him tonight.
Yeah, and I was just getting to that point myself. So he's still running like high 121s, low 122, where the rest of the field is like low 122s to high 122s right now as far as the top three are concerned.
Andrew Hardcastle takes it to pit lane in the number 22 machine. So move him to pit road. Also fixing up that graphical error there on the top of your screen. You probably didn't even notice, but I did. Let's take a look at our boss man here, Dave Huckleberry, currently running in position number 24, having a quiet day. Doing a nice job, though, nonetheless. Of course, Dave, very new to the iRacing service. He's put a lot of work into trying to get competitive, and so far looking pretty good. I mean, he's having a top 25 run, currently 1 lap down to the race leaders, but the race leader is running a pace that is not even attainable for anybody else out there. So it's a good run nonetheless for Dave Huckleberry, and shout out to him.
Michael Hosek has caught up to Josh Clark here, and I think we're going to be seeing a pass attempt pretty soon in the near future.
keep our eyes on that 24 of Hasek. By the way, William White, next time by, we'll see 10 laps to go. This could turn into a 4-car battle here momentarily, Alayton, as Josh Clark in 9th, Michael Hasek 10th, 11th is Abnett, 12th is Owens, and you can almost put a blanket over these guys as they're really closing the gap up to each other quite a bit. By the way, Andrew Hardcastle did exit pit lane and has returned back to his box with some gremlins on that 22 car as we continue to watch this battle here between Josh Clark, Michael Hasek, Austin and Abnett, and Jordan Owens, as Hasek tried to stick the nose in there, just wasn't close enough to do it.
Yeah, this infield is really difficult to make any sort of passes on. So it's kind of waiting until the chicane or the bus stop on the backstretch or the front stretch chicane. Sometimes into turn 1 can work well, but big stretches of the track where you just kind of have to stay in line and try to stay on their bumper as well as you can.
Hasek closing in again. We'll ride on board with Michael Hasek to see how he approaches this potential pass. Actually, we're going to quickly back off of that as we just had an issue for... Actually, no, Mark Roval has just joined the races. Oh, no. Jaden Rasimas has had an incident out there on the racetrack, was having a really solid run. Just taking it to pit lane. What happened?
You got to back it up. He clipped the same wall that Pocock did.
Oh, no. And there it is. Watching the 19 of Rasimas into the outside wall. Man, that wall sucks.
Yeah, there's no cushion on that wall. It's
let's
just
tear that
breaking
wall
the
down.
toe legs.
Let's tear that wall down as we come to 9 to go. William is just sending this race car. Oh, my.
Yeah, Hasek has made that pass happen now, and Austin Abnett and Jordan Owens are the ones breathing down Josh Clark's neck after that.
Now, Jordan Owens seems to be a little bit quicker than Austin and Abnett. Do you think he waits until the pass is made on Josh Clark before trying to get by Austin and Abnett? Or does he maybe try to double down and get both of them here?
It's hard to say. It depends on how long it takes Austin to find a passing opportunity. If it takes too long, then, I mean, you can't waste too much time being hung up behind slower cars.
Oh, no. There we go. Okay, so Austin and Abnett makes a mistake there. Jordan Owens takes advantage, works his way up into position number 11, closing in on the top 10 here with just a handful of laps to go, about 8.5 of them remaining in this one. Josh Clark holds on to that final spot inside the top 10. He's chasing down Michael Hasek. Looking for other battles out here on the racetrack, and well, we don't really have too many. We have a little battle back here behind Justin Vandermeer. He's got Corey Abbott. Actually, behind Frank Foti, I should say. Justin Vandermeer there, Corey Abbott, Jeff Ryan, and, well, that's about it. 4 cars under a blanket here as they're battling it out for position. Let's do this. Let's take a lap around the racetrack on board with William White. So let's hop on board now. You'll hear the sights and sounds of the Charlotte Roval by behind the wheel of that 43. And we're back here at the Charlotte Roval. We just rode on board with William White, and you saw it there, guys. 3 wide, the leader had to split a couple of lap cars in both Dusty Dewar and Carlos Acosta, who are just running outside the top 20 and 21st and 22nd, respectively. So having decent runs for both of them, but that got very, very sketchy for the 43.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's taking some unnecessary risks with the size of the gap that he has to the rest of the field. I mean, it's not going to kill his race to take an extra second or two even to make sure that pass is completed safely.
He's got 7 seconds over Tommy Ryan, so he could give up at this rate a second a lap just to play it a little bit safer, and he would still have that victory over Tommy Ryan. But like you said, William White taking some extended risks at this point. By the way, one thing to keep an eye on, Gavin Higgins is closing in a bit here on Hunter Smith. The gap between the two of them is about 2 seconds deep, so we'll keep an eye on the potential for a third place battle here, as we see Ray Bracey up to 5th. He's getting by Mitch Javier. Thomas Coonan getting by Dave Huckleberry. He holds on to that 6th spot. 7th is Dylan Javier, who got absolutely sent earlier in this race. Jay Connor in 8th. Michael Hossack 9th. And 10th is Jordan Owens, who has cleared Josh Clark, so move him into the top 10. Clark back to 11th, and Nabnett, Evans, Carpenter, and Fody the top 15. As next time by, we'll be at 5 laps to go.
And looking around the track right now, there's not a lot of cars close together. People have gotten really spread out, and not a lot of action because of that.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of calmed down a little bit here, as like I said, we're going to be coming to 5 to go this upcoming time by. Just taking a look at some of our curbing cameras that we have here, and you're seeing some of these guys get a little bit of air each and every time that they run over the curbs. We'll take a look at William White here as he comes by on the front stretch. 5 laps to go. Barney the flagman did have 5 fingers in the air that time for the driver out of the UK. William White looking to go back to back here tonight, pick up his first 2 career Elite Racing League victories. Of course, dominated at the Charlotte Oval earlier tonight with every lap led possible going to that driver of the 43.
Just to follow up on a fight we were watching a little earlier, Jordan Owens has cleared Josh Clark and has pulled away pretty well since then. Austin Nabnett is still behind Josh Clark, but and doesn't look like he is putting as much pressure on him as they were before.
This is the closest battle on the racetrack right now, as it's actually side by side between Justin Vandermeer and Jeff Ryan. That's for the 15th position, as it looks like Jeff Ryan going to have the advantage off of turn number 2 of the NASCAR Oval. Actually, no, make that off of turn number 4 of the NASCAR Oval, but Justin Vandermeer going to overshoot it here. Very much overshoots it, has to slow down, and is going to be side by side again with Jeff Ryan. Corey Abbott right there as well. Frank Fody just trailing them, as Vandermeer making a couple of mistakes here, compounding on each other at this point.
And Corey putting up quite the fight with the lack of a front end, as well as his pedals sketching out. So not the night he wanted to have, I'm sure, but it could definitely be going worse for him.
It could definitely be going worse. He didn't hit that wall that everyone else has here so far tonight, so luckily for him. Wow! As Thomas Coonan, he's going to bully his way through. Oh my word. Guys,
Yeah,
we're gonna take a look at that one again. I want to have another peek at that pass that Thomas Coonan just made, because he was way far back. Let's actually go on board.
That's a send and a half. Wow.
Yeah, so Coonan just absolutely, there's no other way to say it. He bullies his way into the position and gets the 5th spot over Ray Bracy. Bracy probably not going to be particularly pleased with that, I wouldn't think.
But at the same time, Coonan had to catch up to Bracy and then make that pass happen. So I don't know that Ray's going to be able to catch back up to do anything about it. Not that he's the kind of guy that would, but
No, I don't think he would. Some words might have been exchanged, potentially, but anyways, out front, William White still leads. We were watching that battle earlier around Frank Foti and Corey Abbott. Well, William White wanted to watch it as well. As I think he just clipped the wall. As he's going to work his way through just behind Justin Vandermeer. So he's about to have the whole field up to the 15th spot. Put 1 lap down or more at this point, as William White to the inside of Justin Vandermeer. Vandermeer going to fall 1 lap down. Next car up the road is Jeff Ryan. As this time by, we'll see popsicle sticks in the air, indicating just 2 laps to go for William White.
yeah, this has just been an even more dominating performance than the oval earlier tonight for William. And I've got to say, these other drivers have definitely got a challenge in front of them for the rest of the season to try and keep him from doing that in the future.
Yeah, it just seems like he's come in with a lot more confidence than we've seen in the past out of this driver. And of course, popsicle sticks were just displayed that time. It's 2 to go. The gap 8 seconds between first and second. 21 and a half back to third place Hunter Smith, who's having a very solid run. Hunter's going to be pleased with a podium run if he's able to hold it on. He is about 4 seconds between himself and Gavin Higgins. As we quickly ride on board here with Tommy Ryan. He's working his way through past Killer Corner right there. That's what we're going to call it, because it has been absolutely lethal for these drivers here tonight as William heads down the back stretch towards the back stretch chicane. This time by, going to be looking for the white flag. Still sending it as Dave Huckleberry had a brief off-track moment. Everything A-OK for the driver of that number 52 machine, as Will going to come around this time. Going to be looking for the white flag. It's 1 lap to go for the driver of the number 43 machine. White flag in the air. Looks like Dave Huckleberry had another moment. We'll take a quick gander before we head back. No, he is okay. Looks like it was just a trigger of slowing down to serve a potential penalty there. But William White, once again, leading everything here this evening. Every lap on the oval, every lap on the Roval as well for William White, the driver of the number 43, the University of Chichester, I believe is how he says it. I don't have his accent, so I can't be 100% on it. Josh Clark crashing in the back. Good run for him out the window as Austin and Abnett and Zach Evans going to get by. They're going to work into 11th and 12th as White down the back stretch for the final time here tonight. Absolute dominance for the young driver. One of the many foreign drivers here in the Elite Racing League, putting that English flag on the map here once again tonight. Out of the final corner. He's done it. He's swept the night. Get the brooms out. It's Willie White picking up the victory once again. What a drive, guys. William White absolutely showing that he is a championship threat. Tommy Ryan comes home second. Hunter Smith going to be working his way to third this time as he works his way out of the final set of corners here. Gavin Higgins right behind him. He's coming home in fourth. Good run for him. Thomas Coonan Looks like he's going to hold on to that 5th spot, and the rest of the field going to work their way through as well. But William White, he's going to get set to burn it down for the 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, this has just been a very impressive night from Will, and I think he's gonna feel like it's been a long time coming. He's definitely been capable of this, but hasn't had the circumstances to make it happen until tonight.
Team owner Corey Abbott coming by to congratulate him. Little door tap, not going to hurt that Abbott machine as it's already pretty busted up, but Corey Abbott even coming home 18th. That's not the finish he would have been hoping for, but with the damage he had, I think it's something that will be acceptable for Corey Abbott. As William White just letting the rest of the field going on by, soaking in every moment. Double down, double shot, double trouble here for Billy Blanco. Just a special night for him. Is going to work his way here to the front stretch, gets set to burn it down, and there he goes, William White.
September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025. The NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to www.raceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
We are back here at the Charlotte Roval. Just about to have a quick word with our race winner, William White, who has gone back-to-back here tonight for the first 2 victories of his career. And I am now joined by William White. Will, you entered tonight.
Oh dear.
It looks like we're okay. Anyways, we'll try to run through this one. You're the only interview we have, so that's okay. You entered tonight, 0 career victories, now exiting the evening with 2. How good does that feel?
It was twice as nice as the first time. I didn't quite expect to be as dominant at the Charlotte Roval. I did a lot of laps here in preparation because I knew it'd be difficult transitioning from the oval race to the Roval. But I just kept it mistake-free, kept the tires under me relatively well, and then eventually kept a comfortable pace that was thankfully quite a bit quicker than those behind me, and just let her sail for 30 laps with really no issues.
Yeah, you led every single lap tonight. You did not give up the lead even once. That is what we call dominance, and now you've set yourself up as probably the clear favorite to be that championship guy to beat this season. how are you going to try to back it up heading into the upcoming races on the schedule? Obviously, there's going to be a lot different than Charlotte in the Oval and the Roval. I mean, next week we're going to head to Atlanta Motor Speedway, then Michigan, then Watkins Glen, and then we're going to double down at Oswego, which will include a dirt race. So how do you back this one up?
Well, it's going to be difficult, not going to be easy, but I'm going to take the same approach that I do to all my league races. Just try and prepare as much as I can, run laps, and try and use this momentum that it'll hopefully now give me to try and back it up with a few more wins. I know you said it probably about a year ago now. As soon as he gets that first one, he'll get a bunch of them, go on a bit of a tear, and hopefully that comes true. As soon as I got that first one, I got the second one now, but yeah, some tricky tracks coming up. Obviously, Atlanta, it's a super speedway. It's going to be a massive toss-up. Michigan should be good. Watkins Glen, I love. But yeah, just try and back it up at Atlanta. Try and back it up at the next tracks. But focus remains on keeping the points lead now, which should hopefully be fairly healthy with two fairly, not easy as such. I didn't completely run away with it, but definitely comfortable wins is the word I would use. So hopefully just try and hang on to the points lead for these next 13 races.
So anyone that's going to take a look at the points right now will see that you lead by just 6 points over Jay Connor, who sits in second. It's actually a tie between Jay Connor and Tommy Ryan. That is due to the drop week.
Drop week.
So
yes,
what'll happen is that's going to fluctuate so much throughout the season. What could be 6 right now could end up turning into 30 plus next week, depending on who has a bad day, who doesn't. But that'll be something fun to follow all throughout the season. But 2 victories is definitely a strong way to kick off the season. And heck, if one of your drop weeks ends up being a victory at the end of the season, that means you've dominated and won just about everything. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I think you're going to have one heck of a season nonetheless. And let's get those sponsors rolling. Shout outs to everyone that gets it done for that 43 team. Everyone that's believed in you from the day you came in here. 80 plus starts ago and racked up runner-up finishes and DNFs and everything along the way ahead of tonight's double down here at Charlotte.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, the shout-outs haven't much changed from about an hour ago. Obviously, you guys in the broadcast booth, Jesse, obviously, on Race Control. Everyone at Abbott Motorsports, obviously, including you two, Corey, Alayton, Brent, Thomas, all those guys. They're always a good bunch to hang out with, as much as they did rib me for having 0 wins. And Andrew still somehow finds a way to bully me for having 2, because it took too long. He has a knack for bullying me, that guy, but yeah, everyone who's believed in me, obviously, big shout out to them. University of Chichester as well with their esports program. Got everyone back home. Obviously, I'm not at home at the moment being at university, but my parents always try and watch these races. My dad, basically my number 1 fan, he's believed in me as soon as I picked up iRacing about 4 years ago. So it was amazing to finally get not 1 but 2 wins in one night for him and everyone else watching, believing in me, all my friends and family. So yeah, a lot of people to thank helping me get here, but I'm glad to finally reward them.
It's definitely nice. I mean, you talk about getting involved in iRacing when you turn just 8 years old. Now 4 years later, doubling down with 2 victories. It's exciting to see, and I can't wait to see how many more you can pick up this season.
Hopefully, we'll try and get 13 more this season, but as you say, probably won't happen, but won't stop me from trying, but I'll give it a fair whack.
That's right. Whack away. As William White, 2 victories here tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Alayton, final thoughts from you after what was a great night here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I mean, the obvious thing here is the dominance that Will displayed all night long. After tonight, I am definitely concerned for my title of most wins in ARCA. So we'll see what happens the rest of the season. Will has a very, very good shot at it with this start.
It was definitely impressive to see what William White could do here tonight, picking up 2 wins in absolutely dominant fashion. Dominant is even an understatement. He led every single lap available tonight and just pulled away every lap too. So pretty incredible to see. Congratulations to him and his team. On behalf of RevLimit Workshop, Pit Pass Network, the Elite Racing Lead, Dave Huckleberry, Chad Frankenfield, all the admins, and on behalf of my broadcast partners here tonight, Alayton Norgard and Jesse Rasimas, my name is Robert Hill Jr. Thanks for joining us here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow for some Cup Series action live on the Elite Racing Network. Have a good night, everybody.